Hello students, welcome to the class. In this video, we'll be looking into the transformation of simple, complex and compound sentences from one to the other. This is part of the grammar component of Unit 2 as well as 3 in Semester 4 syllabus. Now first of all, let's revise what we have already learned about simple, compound and complex sentences. Now, simple sentences are those sentences which have one independent clause. That means it has a subject, a verb, and it also has a completed thought. For example, Tom kicked the ball. The subject is Tom, kicked is a finite verb, and the sentence has a complete thought. Now then, compound sentences. Compound sentences are those sentences which have two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Tom kicked the ball and it hit Jim. Now here we have two independent clauses. Tom kicked the ball and it hit Jim. They are joined together by a coordinating conjunction and. So this is an example of compound sentence. Then we also learned about complex sentence. Now complex sentence are those sentences which have one independent clause, that means with a subject, verb and completed thought, and a dependent clause, that means a subject, verb and an incompleted thought, along with a subordinating conjunction. Now as Tom kicked the ball, it hit Jim. Now here we have it hit Jim is an independent clause with a subject, verb and complete thought, and the other clause, that is as Tom kicked the ball, though it has a subject Tom, verb kicked, but it doesn't have a complete thought. Hence, it is a dependent clause. Now we can transform sentences of one type from one to other without change in the meaning. Now we can do this by modifying a clause into a phrase. For example, if you want to change from compound or a complex sentence into a simple sentence, we need to modify one of the clauses into a phrase. Either we have to remove the subject or a verb so that it becomes a phrase and no more is a clause. Or we can also do this by using a different conjunction. If you are trying to do transformation of a compound sentence to complex sentence or a complex to compound sentence, what we have to do is we need to replace a coordinating conjunction with a subordinating conjunction or vice versa. Now we can also transform sentences by enlarging a word or a phrase into a clause. For example, if you are trying to transform simple sentence into compound sentence, we have to look for a word or a phrase in the simple sentence and actually transform it or enlarge it into a clause. That means a portion with a subject and a verb. Now let's look at some examples. Now here is a simple sentence. I saw a girl with blue eyes. A subject, a verb, and complete thought, one independent clause. Now we can change this into a complex sentence. I saw a girl who had blue eyes. In this sentence, I saw a girl is an independent clause and who had blue eyes is a dependent clause. Or we can change that into a compound sentence. I saw a girl and she had blue eyes. In this sentence, I saw a girl, she had blue eyes. Both of them are independent clauses. We'll look into another example. He had finished his work and he returned home. Now here we have a compound sentence. He had finished his work and he returned home. Both are independent clauses joined by and. We can transform it into a complex sentence. What we have done here is we have removed the coordinating conjunction and replaced it with a subordinating conjunction after. So now it becomes after he had finished his work, he returned home. Now you have he returned home, an independent clause, after he had finished his work a dependent clause, making it into a complex sentence. Or we can also change it into a simple sentence. Having finished his work, he returned home. Here, we have totally transformed the first clause, that is, he had finished his work, into a phrase. We have removed the subject he, and now it's only a phrase. And so, it's a simple sentence with only one subject and one verb. Right. Now let's look into more examples of how we can change a compound or a complex sentence into simple sentence. Alka ran all the way, but she was late for college. But it's a compound sentence. In spite of running all the way, Alka was late for college. What we have done here is, we have taken the first clause, Alka ran all the way, and we have transformed it into a phrase, in spite of running all the way. So now, this sentence has only one subject, Alka, and only one verb, was. Similarly, although the man was in a hurry, he stopped to look at the scene. Now this is a complex sentence. Although the man was in a hurry is a dependent clause. He stopped to look at the scene, an independent clause. Now to transform it into a simple sentence, again, what we have done is transform the first clause using in spite and of being. We have made it into a phrase. Now it is a simple sentence. In spite of being in a hurry, the man stopped to look at the scene. Now here we find a compound sentence. Farid found the house locked, so he waited outside for his friend. Now again, we turn the first part or the first clause into a phrase. Finding the house locked, Farid waited outside for his friend. The next sentence, it seems like it's a complex sentence. Although the curry was far too salty, it's a dependent clause. Amit did not complain is a independent clause. Despite the curry being too salty, Amit did not complain. The man who is wearing a white kurta speaks fluent Marathi. It's again a complex sentence with who is wearing a white kurta, a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. Now we have changed it into simple sentence by simply stating it as the man in white kurta speaks fluent Marathi. We have transformed the dependent clause who is wearing a white kurta into a phrase in white kurta. Now, simple sentences to compound sentences. Okay, now if it is a simple sentence, we have to turn a word or a phrase and enlarge it into a clause. In spite of being new to the place, Tanu got everybody to support her cause. Now, Tanu got everybody to support her cause is a main clause, but the first part is just a phrase. Now, we have to transform it into a clause and also add a coordinating conjunction to make it a compound sentence. So, we have to make these two changes. Tanu was new to the place, yet she got everybody to support her cause. By putting yet and also removing in spite of being and giving it a subject Tanu, now we have changed it into a compound sentence. It was not dark even at 7 in the evening. Again, we have to enlarge a word and make it a compound sentence. It was 7 in the evening, yet. Walking down the road, Sam looked out at the lovely houses on both sides. We have changed the phrase walking down the road into a clause. Sam walked down the road and he looked at the lovely houses. Being exhausted after the climb, we rested on the hilltop for a while. Again, we have transformed or enlarged the phrase being exhausted after the climb into a clause, providing with a subject and a verb. We were exhausted after the climb, so we rested on the hill. Now, We can also change simple sentences into complex. You must return home before sunset. You must return home before the sun sets. Now here we have a subordinating conjunction before, and you must return home is the independent clause. Before the sun sets is the dependent clause. The squirrels hid the nuts at the usual place. Now here it's a simple sentence, so we are giving another verb so that we can make it as two clauses and also a complex sentence. The squirrels put the nuts where they usually hid them. The boys went out of their way to make the event a success. The boys went out of their way so that the event was a success. Now we can also change compound and complex sentence to each other. Now let's look at this example. Now this is a complex sentence. Even though we missed the bus, yet we got to office on time. So by using the replacing the suitable conjunctions in subordinating or coordinating, we can actually transform the sentences. If you do not want to take the pink saree, you can take the white one. You can take either the pink saree or the white saree. There was complete silence in the room, so Lily was able to concentrate. Now that's a compound sentence. As there was complete silence in the room, Lily was able to concentrate. Right. So we have seen different ways of changing. Now one thing we have to remember is either it's a simple sentence or a compound sentence or a complex sentence. The conjunctions in compound and complex sentences are very important. Now if you have a sentence where you have the conjunctions and so or therefore in the compound, we can use as, since or because to make it a complex sentence, or we can just use being or use the verb given to in the ing form in a simple sentence to make it into a phrase. Similarly, if the compound sentence has but, yet or still, we can use the subordinating conjunctions though, although or even though to make it into a complex sentence. And we can use either in spite of or despite plus the verb's ing form to transform a clause into a phrase to make it into a simple sentence. Similarly, if the compound sentence has and or, sometimes we can use so that to make it into a complex sentence, and also to or into infinitive or to make it into a simple sentence. Now these are some important changes that we have to make in order to transform them. Right. So what we have done in this video is we have looked into how we can transform a simple sentence into a compound or a complex sentence, or a compound or a complex sentence into a simple sentence. We have also looked into how a compound or a complex sentence can be interchanged. Now all the examples that we did in this video are from the textbook exercises, so that you may have an idea of how actually we may transform them. Thank you for watching the video. Complete the textbook exercise and be equipped. If you have any queries, contact us in the details given. Thank you. Have a good day.